Finding out you're sick, that sucks, especially when you're not sure what you have is incurable or not. For a lot of people with diabetes, that's how they feel. Let me just tell you this. I started out with an A1C of 7.5, but now, medically speaking, I no longer have diabetes. That's what I want to share with you today. Guys, what's going on? Joe here with Let's Go Low Carb, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I was able to reverse my diabetes and go from a 7.5 A1C down to a 5.7 in just a few months and lose over 30 pounds, okay? Now let me start by saying I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, and none of this is intended to be medical advice for anyone. These are just things that worked for me, and I want to share that with you, and hopefully some of these things will work for you or for someone that you love that has diabetes. Last year, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I had blood work done that I have done every year for my insurance to get a discount, and I had a 7.5 A1C. Scared a little bit, didn't know what to do. I started doing some research. I made an appointment with an endocrinologist. I went and saw him, and when I sat down with him and basically told him what was going on, and he looked at everything, he said, yes, you have diabetes, and he wanted to prescribe me metformin. Now, I'm the type of person where if I don't have to take drugs, I won't, but if they're absolutely necessary, I will. So I told the doctor, I said, I don't want to take the drugs. So he kind of like snickered a little bit and said, well, I'm going to call them in anyway, and then if you feel like you need them, you can go get them. 3 weeks later, I go back to the doctor, and he said, oh, it looks like the metformin is working. I said, no, I'm not taking the drugs. And he's like, oh, you're not taking it? He's like, well, you're doing very good. So that's what I want to share with you today. Some of the things that I was able to change in that first 3 weeks and beyond that was able to get that A1C down to the 6 range and then down to 5.7. So the first thing I did was I made sure I was able to monitor my glucose levels all the time. Now, I will just be upfront with you. I don't like the finger pricks. I hate that kind of stuff. So I was able to get a continuous glucose monitor. I was able to get the Freestyle Libre 2. Whatever works for you, that's good. But that's what worked for me. So it was important for me to have that because I knew if I was going to make changes, I needed to be able to monitor what was going on inside of me continuously. So with that, throughout the day, I would just check that all the time. I would check to see what happened after I ate this, after I ate that, what worked, what didn't, because a lot of foods out there that say they're sugar-free or say that they have low carbs, they can still affect you. So you have to be able to monitor that. And then there are some things that you would think have a lot of sugars, but they're actually low on the glycemic index, and you read about it and you're like, okay, I want to eat that, but let me just double check it as I'm eating it or after I'm done eating it to make sure. So monitoring continuously what's happening it was very important to me. So that's one of the first things that I did. Secondly, I cut my carbs way back. So I was looking at carbs on everything. When I would go places, I would look at what was in there. So I knew I had to do that. But I wanted to make sure that I found alternatives that didn't make me feel like I was missing out. You see, when you feel like you're missing out, it's easier to slide back into what you were doing before, at least for me. So I didn't want to eat the carbs and the things that were bad for me, because when I think about diabetes, I think about people on the extreme level, people who don't take care of it and they have all of these spikes over the years, and then they have numbness in their fingers and their toes, and then they turn black and they have to have them cut off. And that's what kind of motivated me to make sure that I was going to eat properly and change this on my own without medication. So with that being said, knowing I had to cut back net carbs was critical. Okay, because that's like the main issue with diabetes. So finding alternatives. So I had to find these alternatives that would work for me so I wasn't missing out. So the first thing I did is I looked for sugar substitutes. Now, I'm just going to tell you right up front, I don't like anything that has an aftertaste to it. I cannot stand those aftertastes. You know, when you drink something, you're like, oh, this is good. Oh my gosh, well, what's this nasty taste? Okay, it's not how food should be. It should taste good, and then you shouldn't have this nasty aftertaste in your mouth for 30 minutes when you're done. So with that, and the fact that there are some of these sugar substitutes that are fake, such as Splenda and aspartame, or sucralose and aspartame, and a lot of those have medical side effects, things that will, bad side effects, and I didn't want those either. So I started doing some research. So I'm going to tell you the ones that I found, and you can look these up yourself. My favorite one is allulose. The monk fruit is good. A lot of times with the monk fruit, they're mixing it with erythritol. And then you also have stevia, which has a lot of aftertaste. So I wasn't big on that one, but those are the top ones that I believe are safe. And those are the ones that I started using for my coffee and for other things like that. And then one of the other questions that I had to look at was like, is going keto good? Because, the thing about it is when you are diabetic and you cut back on carbs, where's your energy coming from? So in order to have energy, if you go keto, then your body starts being able to burn fat. So that's important to make sure that you have a way to have energy when you're cutting out the carbs. Then I was like, okay, I can find these sugar substitutes, but I'm not the type of person to bake. What if I want something sweet? What if I want like an energy drink? What if I want something like that? So I found a bakery, and I'm going to leave all of these resources for you guys down below. I found a bakery in Atlanta called Zambawango where I get like great cookies. We had a get together on Easter this year, and we had this chocolate silk pie, and people had no idea that it was sugar free. They were like, this doesn't have any sugar in it. You would never be able to tell. So, finding things like that where I go, hey, I can have a piece of pie, I can have a cookie, I can have this, and it tastes like it's not sugar free. So finding things that make you feel like you're not missing out, so you don't want to go back to eating the carbs and then damaging yourself. That's why I was able to stay on the course that I was able to stay on. Also with meals, actually, let's go back to the sweets. I also found these candy bars. They're Nick's Swedish style Smak bars. Those were really good. Ice cream bars, that Keto makes a great one. Enlightened makes a good keto ice cream bar. So find things that work for you. You might have to, go through a couple of different things that don't taste as good. But, if you're looking for things that have erythritol in them and looking for things that have allulose, you're gonna pretty much be safe with those and not have that nasty aftertaste in your mouth. So that's what I was able to do. Meals. Okay, so I want to be able to work. I want to be able to come home, and I want to be able to eat food and not have to worry about like, is this going to be safe for me? Is it not going to be safe for me? Is it going to be good? So we were referred by somebody I know to Factor meals. Those are really good. Now I will tell you, I've tried Factor and I've tried some other ones that are frozen. The Factor ones are phenomenal compared to the other ones I've tried. And again, I'm not being sponsored by anybody, and I'm going to leave links down below for you guys because again, these are things that helped me and these are my resources. So I want to share that with you. Eating out, go out to eat. Of course I can have meats, I can have vegetables. So that's pretty easy. I can have a steak with some broccoli, some cauliflower or whatever. So I can eat those types of things, going out to eat. What about pizza? So there's some great pizza alternatives that I was able to eventually find after buying lots of different pizzas. There's a great pizza from Your Pie Pizza. If you're going out to eat, they have a really good pizza. There's also a company called WIO Foods, W-I-O Foods. They sell these packs of little small pizzas that you can get. Those were really good. Probably my favorite ones. They're a little bit more pricey, but if you want pizzas to have at home, some small personal size pizzas, those are really good options. Also, they also have some great tortilla chips at that company too, phenomenal. And then also for pasta and breads, I found breads at Zambawango has bread. Pasta, we found a company called, I think it's called the Good Bread Company. That's the best pasta we found. I can tell you that I've tried some of those other pastas and they feel like they're spongy and the texture's not right. So those weren't for me. But what I did though is I searched until I found something. So there are options out there, and I'm continuing to search all the time. And that's what this channel is about. It's about me finding foods and trying those foods and sharing that with you guys so that you'll have resources and you'll know like, hey, this is something I saw. Is it any good? Should I try it? Should I not try it? Is it something that I should even waste my money on? And look, if you find something out there and you're like, hey, I wonder if this is any good, let me know. I'll go out, I'll buy it, I'll try it, and I'll share it with you so you'll know whether or not you should spend your money on it. So then at the beginning of this year, 2022, I started with this program called Virta, V-I-R-T-A. They're a program that is covered by a lot of insurance companies. And what they do is they give you a health coach, you have a doctor, and some other people there to support you. Now, some people can do this on their own. They don't need the support. But let me just give you kind of an analogy here, if you will. Even the best ball players and athletes need a coach. Tom Brady has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. LeBron James has a coach. Because no matter how good you are, there's always somebody that knows what they're talking about, looking at it from the outside, and can always give you another perspective or encourage you or make you think about things that you didn't think about before to take it to the next level. So they're a really good program. I would definitely recommend checking them out. And if your insurance covers it, they're going to be a great resource in helping me. They have been get and stay on track with this throughout the week. And they also sent me some tools to monitor my ketones and my blood sugar level. And they sent me a scale so I can log my weight on a daily basis, which has also, helped me out a lot. So then after that, it's about consistency. It's about staying on track. So you have to realize that some days, sometimes I look at my weight and I'm like, hey, I just went up like 1.5 pounds. Then the next day I'm back down to where I was. So you have to be consistent and not give up. You have to stay the course on this and make sure that you aren't just throwing in the towel just because you had a bad day. Okay, we're all gonna have bad days. That's what happened with me. I would have bad days and I would say, okay, what do I do now? Okay, I just ate all this stuff. I didn't do the right thing. What do I do now? How do I make the change and how do I make it stick? So it's about consistency. Now, here's the thing. These are the main things that helped me. Staying consistent, cutting out the carbs, monitoring my glucose levels, and doing these things on a continuous basis and logging it every day is how I was able to reverse my diabetes. And when I say reverse my diabetes, that doesn't mean I can go out today and eat a big bowl of pasta and my blood sugar isn't going to spike. What it means is that I was a 7.5 and now I'm a 5.7. I technically don't have diabetes anymore. There are a lot of people out there who have been able to reverse their diabetes. And if you or someone you love has diabetes and you're wanting to reverse it, I hope that this video was able to give you some tools and some encouragement to be able to do that. If you have questions, please leave your questions down below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I am able to answer for you. If you have links or ideas or some foods that you've tried or some resources that have really helped you, please leave those in the comments below. Also, please like this video and share this video with somebody who has diabetes and that this might be able to help. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you like what you heard in this, because a lot of the things that I've shared are things that I'm going to be sharing in other videos as far as the food reviews and other things. So I really appreciate you hearing what's worked for me, and hopefully that will help you or someone that you love. And I thank you for your time today. I'll see you next time with some more Low Carb Lowdown.